So will George Santos leave New York?
I'm sad to say I fear this already, and I will be leaving New York after 37 years. It's been a great ride. I've lived the de Blasio 8 years. I made it through. I lived Cuomo. I lived Adams. I got to go. It's over.
So you've already decided that have you decided where you're going to go? I mean, look, it's Florida, it's Tennessee, it's the Carolinas. Have you decided already where you're going to go? Is this just early in the thinking process, or are you gone?
I'm gone, and I'm gone to Florida. By January 1st, I will no longer have a driver's license from the Empire State.
Wow. You don't see any reason to believe that New York will recover? What if somebody great runs in 29 like me?
Sid, if you run in 29, I'll come here and canvas for you on my knees until they bleed. I mean that. I mean that. But the reality is very simple. I don't have it in me to stay for the ride. Call me a coward. I am at this point. Look, I'm on overtime right now, right, in life. I have an overtime opportunity here, and I think it's more productive I leave because I am very set in certain ways, mentally speaking, and I don't know that I can really thrive or do anything productive in a city led by a man like Zoran Mandami. So I'll give this to the left. Guys, you won. You convinced me to leave.
Wow.
Good job. I don't know at what expense that's going to be, but go ahead and take your victory lap. I'm done. New Yorkers, you chose this. You made the bed. The majority of you came through and did this. Please lie in it.
So the last one then is, I always ask you this, about a return to politics, and you're like, listen, Sid, I just got out of prison. I'm just getting my life back together. I'm not thinking about politics right now. But you're leaving the state that you spent your whole life in and you love because the politicians or the potential politicians failed you. Does that not make you want to get back in the game?
No, it just shows me more and more that this isn't for me. I had agita all night yesterday. I was foaming at the mouth. I'm telling you, it looked like I was watching a sports game.
I read your tweets. You were like literally effing furious.
By the way, I do want to apologize to Curtis's cats. You're right. They didn't do anything wrong. But in the spur of the moment, I threw them in there in my angry tweet. Sorry, kitties.
I did see that, yes. I got to ask you, though, about one congressperson because I met this person for the first time last summer, okay, George, at the RNC. And the truth is, I liked her. She sat with me and did a live interview. We got along great. Not good, great. Then she called in a bunch of times. But she's finished with me. I'm done with her. I'm done. She was on The View yesterday, actually teaming up with Sonny Hostin, Whoopi Goldberg, and Joy Behar, attacking President Trump and her stance on Israel, quite frankly, while she claims she's not an anti-Semite, is relatively grotesque. What happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and are you still friends with her?
Look, Margie and I are very good friends. We obviously don't agree on everything, and I think that's okay, and that's what makes this country beautiful. I did not see her interview, all of it. At least I saw a few clips. For criticism, from my understanding, and I didn't watch the entire interview, I love the woman, and I'm being very candid with you and your audience. I'm not going to fluff it for you. I love her. I don't agree with her stance on Israel, as you just stated, but that's she has a right and choice to do that, right? We can agree to disagree. That's the beauty of freedom of speech in America. However, the one part of the clip that I did see from her interview at The View was her criticizing Republican leadership, and I gotta give a little credit where credit is due, Sid. I think yesterday was a great reminder that we're allowing Democrats to control the media narrative, and therefore we lost some of these competitive races like Virginia and New Jersey that we shouldn't have. At least it should have been a lot closer. And now I think that when you look at it, I do believe that there is some culpability in leadership in Congress. I served there. I can tell you, it's a lot of theatrics, my friend, and the American people will never understand.
When you say Congress, okay, I know MTG bitches all the time about the speaker. I know. She basically got Kevin McCarthy kicked out. She didn't want this guy. She didn't want that guy. She's made Mike Johnson's job relatively miserable. I'm not talking about Mike. She criticized Trump. How does that happen? How?
I didn't see that. I mean, look,
it happened.
Like I said, I didn't see it. I think that's not a wise thing to do. I will probably give her a call and be like, "Hey, what's up with this?" But again,
Right.
she's free to do it. Obviously, I don't think it's smart because she's always been the biggest Trump supporter. So
Right.
I find that almost incredible. But I believe you. You're one to be very honest.
No, I am honest. No, so you better go back and watch those clips, and you better call her and give her a piece of your mind. That's all I'm saying. Because there's a couple of things I can't deal with in Israel and President Trump. Those are two of them.
I do have a quarrel, and I'll say this to you: what Marjorie did for my family while I was in prison, you can never repay. Do you know what it is for a member of Congress to actually pick up the phone on a daily basis and check in to see that Matt and my sister Tiffany were doing okay?
No,
you know what I mean?
She was the most outspoken. She was the one who kept saying to President Trump, "Hey, get him out of there." So I know how hard MTG worked, and really, if I was going to give anybody credit for getting your sentence commuted outside of Trump, I would put MTG second. So I understand your loyalty, and I love your loyalty. What I'm saying is a lot of us,
it's a really tough choice.
I know, but a lot of us that looked at her as a strong Republican, Trump supporter, everything right, something's happened over the last year, and it's not great. But I'm glad that you're out. I'm glad you're here this morning. I read your tweets last night. This mayor race really pissed you off. So you've got the floor, George Santos, like you did in Congress. You got the floor. Go ahead.
Look, Sid, and to everybody listening, this isn't a hate Curtis Sliwa situation. It's a disappointment. I've always been very transparent. I'm not a Curtis Sliwa fan, but I'm not going to sit here and kick a dead dog, right? Metaphorically speaking. I am upset. Yesterday, politics for me is the blood sport. It's like I'm watching the Super Bowl and my team is getting kicked in the teeth because they're making bad calls. And it's infuriating to me because before I even surrendered to prison, I begged people to have conversations and form a coalition campaign. There was no way we could have gotten this in a splitted situation like we did. I begged to coalesce behind one, create a coalition, hey, whether it was Adams or Cuomo or Curtis or whatever the case is, but